Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, brothers and sisters. Welcome to the Virtual Touring Car Cup here for the Virtual Racing Car Club Season 3, round number 5. The penultimate round here at German's classic Nurburgring. My name is Chris Buxton and I'll be your commentator throughout this evening's race. This is the Pro Lobby. The AM side have their stream being dealt with by McCrae Williams over on Twitch. Right then, quick run through the images before we get underway. As mentioned, it's the penultimate round. All good things must come to an end, etc., etc. You can hear the cars getting ready for the first qualifying session, which we will head down trackside very shortly. Next week, it is the final round, a Silverstone special, which we very much look forward to. So Andy Gillone with a comparatively comfortably up front. It is the March of the Scotsman up front with Roy Grassi holding on to second, but with a narrow margin over Aaron Large. David Moll 4, Stu Neal 5, Jason Powell, who I believe is not with us tonight, in 6th, Alexander 7, Jakob Sterber in 8th, Brendan van Heeden with a more mixed form, I think it's fair to say, but he's in the top 10 in 9th, and Josh Quincy in 10th position. The Go Bobby Cup, so those entering the Pro Lobby without a win or a podium previous to this season, of course includes a number of our newer members, is still very, very hotly contested. Chris Callahan with a just extending his lead very slightly up the front, but is on 79 points, with Colin Dunn and Mark Werrell joint on 74, just 5 points behind Josh Quincy in 4th. Quincy Chauvetot, I believe, is not with us tonight, I think. Alexander's in 6th, Kiki Max 7th. Kiki's definitely not with us, unfortunately, tonight. JP McKinley in 8th. Christos Podens, the mighty entrant last time out at where we were at Alton Park last time out, and Matt Webb, who I'm told he's going to be back with us tonight, so it will be good to see if he's with us. Few streamers, as always. Those are the Pro and AM streamers. If you wanted to watch from the driver's perspective, as I say, Kiki is not with us tonight, but I believe the rest of our streamers are. Right, let's head trackside, shall we? And see who we have got for round 5, the penultimate round of this season. There is JP McKinley, one of the Celtic Bromance brethren. This lead, getting his qualifying lap, or first qualifying lap underway. Scuzzle is Nick Bailey. Glad to have you with us in your resplendent blue Renault, sir. Alex Jameson. No, we weren't certain whether Mr. Jameson was going to be with us. He has had horrendous technical trouble pretty much every race he's been in. We're glad to see that Alex is giving it a go. Roy Grassi is with us once again in the minty flavoured Renault. Master Ron is Aaron Large, the banana split flavoured BMW. Chris Callahan, our current Go Bobby Cup leader, in his Renault. We have Stu Neal, the second of the Ambition Racing BMWs. Brendan van Heeden, the second of our South African contingent, just starting his quality lap. Colin Dunn in the Track and Beyond bright green Renault. Mark Werrell, who was commentating at Brands Hatch last weekend, is with us in the 99 car, still in with a very strong chance of the Go Bobby Honours. That's Josh Quincy that is with us for the Ambition Racing Squad. Not Ambition, beg your pardon. They're completely wrong. I'm just used to talking about the Ambition Squad. That rank dropper is Carl Benson. Sadly, he just reinstalled the game, so hadn't had a chance to put the mod back on. So sadly, we won't see his beautiful Leeds Racing livery. Matt Webb is indeed back with us. Glad to see him back on. It's been a while since we've seen Matt. But there he is. Oops, going a little bit deep into the Dunlop curve. Alex Saunders, after as he's been known, another of the Full Send squad. David Moll, and the next, or the lead of the Full Send squad, I should say. Andrex Gillone, the all-conqueror, the mighty Scotsman at the top of the tree. So he still holds on to that comfortable lead. Jogurk, I wondered if we were going to get a custom livery for him, but I wasn't told to update the mod, so he'll still be running the X12 number. Christos Podens, again, apologies if I am not getting that name quite right. And the founder, the creator of the VRCC, Toby Owen. 18 drivers and Carl Benson has got himself a grid drop penalty already. First time's coming in then. Let's see how this shakes out. Well, unsurprisingly, Mr. Podens was so strong out of the box when he joined us last time out 2 weeks ago. There was a special event last week which was streamed. It was Kiki Mack and JP McKinley, the Celtic Bromans pair, that streamed the event. It was a collaboration between ourselves and my old stomping ground where I very first started my commentary career. That's Apex Online Racing. It was lovely to see. Sadly, I was not able to commentate, not able to join in because I was commentating at Thruxton myself. So my first real-life commentary gig happened to clash with this particular event. But we are here nonetheless. See how things shake out. So, Christen's Podens currently at the top of the tree. Brendan Van Heeden in second. So 2:03.5, then a 2:04.6. Wow, 1 second difference between the two. Roy Grassi, I think it's fair to say that the best times are yet to be seen. Roy Grassi currently third, 2:04.737. Mark Werrell up into fourth place now, being hounded already in qualifying by Christus Podens. Tiny bit deep coming through the S's, very easy for me to say, and he's pulled out of the way of Mr. Podens to let him through as they swing through turn 11. Brendan Van Heeden's returned to the pits, as you can see. Chris Callahan currently in fifth place for Full Send, the pink accented Renault, as Carl Benson, as we can see, has just jumped up to 8th place. David Morgan in 6th at 2:06.481. Stu Neal for Ambition in the number 14 BMW in 7th position. I still love the roar of the BMW. Carl Benson, as mentioned, in 8th. Mazaron, or Aaron Large, the banana split BMW, Banana W, I was trying to say that didn't quite work. Currently in 9th with a 2:06.740. Alex Saunders, next of the Full Zone squad, has just been demoted to 11th because Toby Owen, oh, that's a stormer, 2:06 flat for the Renault. Sees him in 7th place. My goodness me, the merciless march of Christus Podens. Oh, Stu Neal, that's taking very extreme avoidance measures, bouncing around on the outside, heading down towards turn 3. Mark Werrell, nice improvement there. I think that was Mark who's just jumped up. No, he hasn't just crossed the line. So he's 2:0. Well, yeah, I think he has improved since I last looked. 2:05.6. I think it was Alex Saunders. 2:04.744. Beg your pardon. Oh wow, that's close between himself and Roy Grassi. What's that? That's 7 thousandths of a second between the two. And so he's returned to the bit and having another go. Where is Mr. Podens, our current pole man? Where's Alex Jameson? He's just started a lap. Let's ride on board then with the South African ace. So we've just gone through turn 1, now into the stadium section. Well, the Mercedes Arena, I should say. So turn 2, sliding in the car on the exit of the turn. Now starting to come back downhill for turn 3's. Patience is key. You need to stay hard over the left-hand side and then open up the exit of turn 4. Nicely done. And scream past the shorter version of the track cut through and then chuck it into turn 6. There is a turn 5, believe it or not, halfway down that straight, even though there is not really marked by anything. Slides the car through turn 7, or the forward curve, as Christus Podens has returned back to the pit with his 2:09.8 still firmly in hand. And riding over the grass indeed to open up the Dunlop curve, turn 8, as much as he can. Slides through on the exit. Chris Callahan's returned to the pits with that 2:05.754, along with Stu Neal, 7th and 6th respectively. Through the Schumacher S's, and Alex Jameson keeping his foot quite well nailed to the floor through turns 9 and 10 on the Schumacher S's, as mentioned. Now it is turn 11. Got to get this one right. You need to get back over to the left in a hurry to open up the Bilstein curve, turn 12. Again, lots of slideways action for the BMW. It's always the best way of getting the best out of this car. Now through turn 13, heading towards the Vidal chicane, 14-15. Hard over to the right hand side, then on the 100 meter board, heavy on the brakes, down through the gears, bounce over the apexes. It does unsettle the car a little bit, but once again, it is the quickest way of going through that chicane. Then it's turn 16. Final turn again, lots of slideaways action going on from Jameson. What time does he get on the board? The number 3 BMW sits into second position with a 2:04.4. That's still 1.4 seconds behind what Chris Podin has put on the board, and that's a stormer from Alex Jameson. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4 cars in the 204s. Jameson, Van Heeden, Grassi and Saunders. Well, you don't often find Andy Gellone at the tail end of the field, but I think it's fair to say he hasn't had a straightforward run. The 2:10.594, even I can beat that kind of time. And again, you can see he's putting all the opposite lock in as he's chucked it in, booted the throttle, and controls the slide. It looks so effortless from the outside, but believe you me, it is not. And that's Chris Podins getting out of Roy Grassi's way. He's going to wind up for another hot lap then. 4.5 minutes to go. So as a reminder, those that maybe aren't familiar with the format, we have 3 races tonight, as we do every night. And we are currently watching the qualifying for the first of the 3 races. And good evening, Mr. Jones. Good to see you in the chat. Glad to have you along for the ride. Oh, look at that. 2:04.4. The exact same time set by Roy Grassi. He's matched Alex Jameson. That's no mean feat at all, because when we were on board with that lap, it looked pretty hot from Alex Jameson. Oh, hello, Sean Morton. Good to see you as well. Why are we not seeing you trackside, sir? We miss the Sean Morty car indeed. But glad to have you along for the ride. Good to see you. Good to see you indeed. Roy Grassi again on form. It's seeing a steady improvement from the minty accented Renault. There is Chris Podens trying to make everyone stay even worse by extending that colossal gap he has up front. And where did Mr. Gellone slot in? There he is. He's in 5th position. Another 2:04 on the board. 2:04.738. A mighty 6,000ths of a second ahead of Alex Saunders. And again, just get that BMW to glide seemingly effortlessly. Even with what on board, you see all the steering inputs that go on for the BMW. You can't actually see it that well. Unfortunately, the hands are hidden somewhat by the interface, and I can't turn the interface off. So you can replay, but you can't whilst live. Who is Alex Saunders caught up with? He had the proximity marker on there, so whoever was ahead of him probably just jumped out of the way. Oh, bit of a lock up there from the tail end of the 75. Nick Bailey has returned to the pits, 2:09.2 for him on the board. Some improvement there to be found. And Carl Benson has returned to the pits along with Matt Webb. It's been a while since we've seen Matt actually in the field, so it's good to see him back on board. Let's see what he is able to do. 2:07.673. Roy Grassi has returned to the pits. Does Mr. Podens improve? Not this time, but he is on a hot lap and will have time to do another one if he so chooses to. Hello, Eric Dunn. One assumes you are a relation of Colin Dunn. There is Colin, currently in 15th position with a 2:07.4 on the board, being chased by Aaron Large, the banana split BMW. Do make yourselves known in chat. Always good to have the interaction with you, lovely spectators. Yes, sadly we weren't able to have spectators at Thruxton last weekend for my real life commentary debut. And no improvement for Colin this time around. What about Aaron Large right behind him? 2:05.833 still his time, sees him in 11th position. Andy Gellone has improved. There he is, now second with a 2:04.255. No one able to get anywhere near the might of Mr. Podens. Oh, Alex Jameson has come alive now. 2:04.141. His Ambition Racing 2 and 3. And Mr. Podens has been recruited by the Celtic Bromance squad, despite the fact he's not in the right colours, but he is representing the Celtic Bromance team, I should say, if I can get the words out right, as he's again just shirking that one in. That's too deep. I suspect that lap has been ruined coming through turn 11. Pushing on nonetheless. I mean, if he hasn't invalidated the next lap, then he will be able to complete that one. Or he was right on the very, very limit. It looked like it was too wide from the external perspective. Alex Jameson showing his true form there as he's nearly flying off the road, but that's whoa, that's a lot of traffic. That's a lot of traffic ahead of around Roy Grassi indeed. That's Carl Benson right ahead of him, I think. It's either Carl Benson or Mark Werrell. Both of them have a lot of white. No, that's Carl Benson. I know Mark Werrell has some red in his livery, so people returning to the pits then. Their day's done. Alex Jameson is in the pits. Brendan Van Heeden, Toby Owen, Mark Werrell. That's why we didn't see him. David Moll and Matt Webb have all returned to the pits. The checkered flag is out. There was one of the full send guys right behind. We saw at the top of the shot there. Where now is our pole sitter going to extend that gap? He's near the beginning of the lap. He's coming through the Mercedes arena. That's turn 4. He's just bounced over the curve off. Oh, Josh Quincy has gone off the road somewhere. That's turn 5, believe it or not. That tiny, non-existent king of the road. Wow. He's just having some fun out there now. Andy Gillone has returned back to the pits as well. The 204.255 sees him in 3rd place. Well, Roy Grassi's got a face full of Nick Bailey. Oh, 7 days a week. Oh, Mr. Morton, that's not fun. Oh, goodness. Well, I hope that's I hope the work schedule eases up a little bit so we can see you trackside again. I do look forward to the day when I can get to shout about your on-track antics once again. JP McKinley has gone off the road somewhere. One of the 2 Celtic Bromance drivers out there at the moment. Sadly, Kiki McDonough with us. Colin Dunn is done. I can't help but make that anecdote each week. That's not what I want to do. Stu Neal's done. Alex Saunders is done. Mr. Podens isn't yet. Who is he catching up to? That's McKinley. That's JP McKinley he's catching up to. And it's back in the pits for Christus Podens, who isn't done yet. It must be McKinley. Oh no, Nick Beatty's still going. So Nick Beatty, last car on track and last car on the grid. Can he improve? 209.240. So we see an improvement from the Scuzzle. We did. I didn't quite get a chance to see to where. So then it is Christus Podens on the pole again by a full second over Alex Jameson, and then Andy Gillone and Roy Grassi take on row 2, Brendan Van Heeden and Alex Saunders on row 3, Stu Neal and Toby Owen row 4, Mark Werrell and Chris Callahan. Oh, front runners in the Go Bobby Cup on row 5. Aaron Larch and David Moll row 6. Now, it became a 2-place penalty for Carl Benson in the end, so he'll start in 15th position, elevating Josh Quincy and Colin Dunn, 1 position, respectively. Then Nick Beatty and Nick Beatty rounds out row 8, and then McKinley and Matt Webb. So Matt Webb ending up starting at the tail end of the field. It's a bit of a shame, as he can be, on his day, he's a really rapid driver. But once again, it is a BMW showcase up front. That's the view that Roy Grassi has on the second row. BMW's utilising the home advantage, you can argue. So then, as these are fixed setups, they can't really alter anything. They can switch between the 2 setups, or they can use this moment or these 2 minutes to maybe have a quick comfort break if they're quick enough. I've seen people lose out as a result of that. They try and beat the clock and they don't get back fast enough. Or just to kind of focus, settle the nerves. There's no formation lap. There's nothing like that going on in this. So as soon as the lights go out, we are racing for race number 1. And there it is. Everyone is readied up. It's not a great angle from there, unfortunately, but here we go then for race number 1 here in Nurburgring. It is time to wind them up and let them go. And that's that looked like a steady start from Gillone this time, but an absolutely cracker from Stu Neal a few rows back. 3 wide coming down toward turn 1. Christen's on the outside. Gillone has gone through into the lead, but got Jameson on his inside line. Jameson wants to try and creep his way through, but it's Gillone that's got the lead from Podens. Heading down towards it. Oh, a big punch in the face between Podens and Jameson coming through turn 3, and that's allowed Stu Neal to jump up into third position. That camera angle's really too close, and again Podens trying to nudge his way past Andy Gillone. He's going to try and get a decent cut back underneath the 55, and Gillone holds his ground. Here we come then, screaming down towards turn 6 for the first time in anger. Podens thinks about it, but does not commit to the line, but Stu Neal now up into third place as a result of the exchange. Jameson down to 4th has jumped to the back of the field. Looks like everybody has survived. That's the view from JP McKinley, who's having an argument for wooden spoon avoidance with Nick Bailey. It looks like everybody has survived so far, so good, as Andy Gillone nearly gets joined in the car by a late braking and locking up slightly Christmas Podens, but they've already got, look at the gap! Look at that gap. Stu Neal has lost 2 positions. Jameson's back up to 3rd, Roy Grassi up into 4th. And look at this, all climbing all over the boot of Stu. Oh no, there's impact between Stu Neal and who was that? It was Alex Saunders. Oh my goodness, well, Alex managed to get away with it, although he's being absolutely hounded by Brendan Van Heeden and Josh Quincy. But right the way down the field has gone Stu Neal. Oh no, that's not ideal. Up front, glued together, are the 2 BMWs. Here we go then, heading towards the VTOL chicane for the first time in anger. Gillone is sticking to the racing line. He's not defending the inside line, and there goes Christmas Podens, who's going to hold on to this one. Gillone's kept his foot in it, but is he going to be able to get the drive? No, Podens had got enough of his car alongside and retakes the lead. Jameson fending off Roy Grassi for 3rd position. Behind them is Alex Saunders having an argument with Brendan Van Heeden, who's got himself a track limit penalty. Josh Quincy in 7th. Then right behind them is David Moll and Aaron Large. Toby Owen in 10th. Carl Benson 11th. Callahan 12th. Nick Bailey up into 13th now. Mark Werrell hasn't had a great start, down to 14th, but looks like he's challenging the Scuzzle for that 13th place. Can't quite get alongside. Colin Dunn 15th. JP McKinley 16th. Stu Neal is now making up for lost time. Matt Webb's in trouble. He's fallen a bit off the back of the pack in 18th position. That's the view from Gillone. He's still right with Christmas Podens. Can he start to challenge for the lead again? He certainly can. He's got the pace to do it then. Now 1.8 seconds ahead of Jameson, who's got what must feel like the whole world on his shoulders. There we go. Now Jameson's starting to get a bit of a gap between himself and Roy Grassi. That's 3rd position at the front of this particular train. So Roy Grassi, the front-running Renault at the moment. Right behind him is Alex Saunders. What's the penalty for Mr. Van Heeden? Well, 2-second penalty for Andy Gillone. That's very rare indeed. There's a 1-second penalty for Brendan Van Heeden. We see Josh Quincy, the back end of this particular train, in 7th. Then it is Aaron Large and David Moll having their own scrap for 8th position in an almighty great train as we ride on board with JP McKinley. That is 10th to 16th, being led by Toby Owen at the moment. Not the easiest track to overtake on. And behind we just saw Stu Neal, and Matt Webb is struggling to get back into his rhythm, it seems. Up front, Christmas Podens is beginning to get some breathing space between himself and Andy Gillone. The Scotsman trying his best to maintain that slipstream distance between himself and our race leader. Ooh, bit of a lock up there from Podens. Podens has some unbelievable pace in the BMW, as we bore witness to last time out at Alton Park. But we all know how quick the mighty Scotsman is. Jameson still fending off Roy Grassi as we come over the line once again. Is that another penalty? Oh no, it is the 2-second penalty that's been applied to the lap time of Andy Gillone. I was thinking, why has he got a 2:08 on the board? That is exactly why. Oh, bit of a lock up there from someone. Oh, that looked a little deep into turn 1 for Jameson. Wow, as much as Jameson tries, he's seemingly not really, he doesn't have an answer to the top 2 at the moment, but plenty of time in this race to do something about it. We will be seeing rain in, I believe it's the final race. I can't actually remember the weather forecast off the top of my head, but I believe we will be seeing rain. I'm not 100% sure whether we will be seeing pit stops in that race. We will see. Aaron Large continuing to hustle David Moll for that 8th position. David, a blindingly fast driver for the Full Send squad. Nick Bailey is on a stormer. He's up to 11th now. He was at the back not that long ago. Toby Owens had trouble. He's now down into 12th position. Oh, nearly nudges the back of the Scuzzle. That's a good run as well for Carl Benson, up into 10th position. running on board with Colin Dunn. We see the back of Mark Werrell's car. Mark a little cautious on the brakes, and that's Nick Bailey that's gone off into the dust. Oh, careful with your rejoin there, Nick. And he does so quite nicely, but he's going to fall down through the field. Oh, Colin Dunn getting a little squiddy. I think he's allowing a bit more room than he needed to for Nick Bailey. Oh, side by side, but Colin has come off the worst. Bounces over the grass, or over the dust, I should say. Loses the position to Nick Bailey and also to JP McKinley. Right behind them, Stu Neal is reeling them in slowly but surely. Is gaining on this particular pack. My word. Battles here, there and everywhere. Brendan Van Heeden down into 6th position now. I beg your pardon, he's been there for a little while, but at the front of this particular pack is Alex Jameson. He cannot break free of the advances of Roy Grassi. Roy doing very, very well to hang on to the back of the South African. Well, actually, that's the South African, the meat in the South African sandwich part, pardon the phrase. There's Jameson and Van Heeden, of course, our South African contingent, with Grassi and Saunders in the middle. Josh Quincy a little bit lonely right behind them. A bit of a lock-up there from someone. And Gillone had fallen outside of the slipstream range of Christus Podens. By his own admission, he just doesn't quite have the answer to the monstrous pace that Podens has. He just kind of have to rely on a potential mistake, which in race 1 at Old Bar we didn't see at all. We did in later races, but certainly not in the first one. And we saw the mighty X12 just really do its thing. Oh, that was Andy Gillone that was making the mistake there. A little bit too deep, coming through turn 6, but does manage to keep it on the road. He's got himself still maintaining that 2-second gap between himself and his fellow Ambition Racing BMW of Alex Jameson behind. But Christus Podens is dancing away really into the distance. Unless, of course, he does make that fatal mistake. That's a bit of a mistake from Alex Saunders, a little bit too deep into the Dunlop curve. But does manage to keep the distance between himself and Roy Grassi fairly similar. Very, very close to the minty accented Renault. So work their way through the Schumacher S's now up towards turn 11. He had to think about an inside manoeuvre. It's not a huge braking zone down there. So you really need to have committed to that move well before then if you're going to try and make a move there. He's going to want to line up for the Vidal chicane, which he looks set to do now. Through we go. There he is. Alex Saunders, he kept his foot in it. Roy Grassi tried to defend that line, but Alex Saunders having none of that on the inside line through the Vidal chicane. That is 4th position to it's a relative newcomer. He only joined us a couple of races ago. And actually Roy Grassi, because he was slightly put offline with the move, it was a fair move, but Brendan Van Heeden, very opportunistic, has slipped through into 5th place. Nicely done. David Mull has reeled in Josh Quincy. The full send Renault is trying to do something about the BMW already ahead of him. Toby Owens back up into 10th, so whilst I was looking away and dealing with the lead battles, Toby Owens back up into 10th position, also helped very much by Nick Bailey's spin. A little bit of a lock up into turn 1. Chris Callahan under all kinds of pressure from Mark Werrell. Mark has been really piling that pressure on all race long. As looks set now, he's gone back up into 12th place. Oh, we've had a change up top. What's happened here? Ah, that's what's going on. Brendan Van Heeden and Roy Grassi having an argument. 4th, 5th position, side by side, coming down towards turn 6. And it's the South African that has won out this time. Roy Grassi is... Well, that's allowing Alex Saunders to try and break away. But a brilliant scrap going on there, 4th, 5th position. And look at this. That's David Mull and Josh Quincy that have swapped around for 7th position. On board with Aaron Large, who's got a great camera position for this side-by-side through the Dunlop curve. Renault on the outside, BMW on the inside. Mull versus Quincy. Down rolls reverse. The Renault's going to have the inside line for the Schumacher S and just completes the move before they get through the first apex. Aaron Large is there to pick up the pieces if it does all go wrong. Further back to Mark Werrell, who's still keeping Chris Callahan company. They reeled in Toby Owen. He's not been able to break free of this warring trio as they themselves work their way through 11 and 12. Great fighting as we tend to see here at the VTCC as we jump on board with Carl Benson, who's at the back of this particular pack now. And right ahead of them, Stu Neal has gained a couple of positions. Right at the lead of this pack is Nick Bailey, so he's gained a couple of positions since we last saw him. Side by side, JP McKinley and Stu Neal. Stu Neal on the inside line coming through turn 13. Then towards the Vido chicane. The Celtic Bromance representative not willing to let that go, but oh no, that's caused a concertina effect. Carl Benson into the back of Colin Dunn. I think that was just people misjudging braking points more than anything else. And Stu Neal again has come off worse for that. That's Matt Webb in the background. Oh, goodness me. Jumping back to Roy Grassi. He's lost some ground against Brendan Van Heeden, it seems. That three-way battle has spread out somewhat. 4 minutes to go of this first race of the night. So David Moll leads Quincy, leads Aaron Large in this particular trio as well. So that three still in the same order than when we left them before. Oh, that's a bit squiggly from Josh Quincy coming through turn 4. It keeps it on the straight and narrow. Now this three-way battle seems to have broken up a little bit. As Toby Owen has, wow, Toby Owen's got himself a big old gap. I wonder whether Callahan and Werrell have actually come together somewhere. It's given Toby Owen, wow, 3 odd seconds between himself and these two. So I suspect Chris Callahan and Mark Werrell have come together. We didn't see it on the stream, but that would explain how Toby Owen suddenly gained 3 seconds there. You just saw Toby Owen going out of the shot. There's Nick Bailey at the top of the shot as well. But Mark Werrell's not giving up on the 11th spot that Chris Callahan currently occupies. There's Carl Benson in this big pack we saw at the tail end of the field. Have a little bit of argy-bargy before. JP McKinley, the Celtic Bromance Renault. You can see the front of this particular three-way. Oh, there's been some more shuffling. I think Grassi... Oh, Brendan Van Heeden, I think, has had trouble. He's in trouble. Brendan Van Heeden's in trouble. Has he hit something? Because he sounded very, very slow then. The car doesn't look that bad. Windscreen looks okay. He seems to be short shifting an awful lot, and suddenly that pack right behind him is now right with him. What on earth has happened to Brendan Van Heeden? He's got trouble. He has got some definite issues going on there. He's got no pace at all. He's pulling over to let that trio go. There goes David Moll. Josh Quincy's going to come past along with Aaron Large. What's the penalty count looking like? 2 for Gillo, 1 for Quincy, 2 for Van Heeden, 2 for Toby Owen. How long can Brendan Van Heeden hold on to that car? He's going to have 2 laps to do before the checker flag falls. And he's pulled off. Oh dear. Well, he's either pulled off or fell off. Not 100% certain. Toby Owen's catching up to him pretty quickly. Oh dear, oh dear. He never seemed to get a break, can he? And Callahan and Werrell the swap round. So also has documented the issues from our second South African. Chris Callahan has been overtaken by Mark Werrell for 11th position. Oh, Chris Callahan nearly nudges the back of Mark Werrell, but they may well be joined by Brendan Van Heeden. There's Nick Bailey as well. He's caught the back of this particular pack, so it's an opportune moment for Mark Werrell to get past Callahan to try and break away. Of course, Chris Callahan won't be too happy about that. He's going to have pressure from the Scuzzle right behind him. Then the next three-way battle you just saw going into shot of JP McKinley, Colin Dunn and Carl Benson. Stu Neal seems to be forever trying to make up for lost time. So where is Brendan? He's there. Is he going to be able to hang on to 10th? I honestly don't think he's going to be able to. Ooh, I thought he was going to wander off the road again. And there is Chris's Podence. He is going to beat the flag. He's just gone through Vido chicane. There's Andy Gillone. He's done pretty well in hanging on to the back of the all-conquering Jogurk. Even by Andy Gillone's admission, he's just seemingly untouchable, but the lap times haven't been drastically different between them. Still broadly the same penalties as last time we saw them. So checker flag is about to drop. And that's another penalty you'll just notice come on the board. It was either Moll or Quincy. I think it was David Moll who's had a second added to his race time. Oh, that was Josh Quincy getting very, very sideways going through turn 1. I think trying to not slam into the back of the homecoming. It's, trying to say that David Moll on home ground. I knew the words I was aiming for, they just came out in completely the wrong order. I keep doing that. So that is indeed 10th out for Mark Werrell, 11th for Callahan, 12th for Nick Bailey, because Brendan Van Heiden has fallen all the way down to 17th position. There he is, Matt Webb. Look at that, 232 last time around. So some kind of technical trouble once again befalling Brendan Van Heiden. But it's another flawless performance from Christus Podens. And Andy Gillone led for a short period of time, and a storming start as he tends to do. And once again, no answer to Jogek's immense pace. Roy Grassi and Alex Saunders have ended close together for 4th position. And once again, the penalties will play their part in who's going to finish where. Aaron Large could gain one of these positions potentially. I think Quincy and Moll have both of 1 second penalties ahead of him, which he does. But at the moment, he'll gain one, but not necessarily the other. Coming around the final turn to take victory for race number 1. Your winner for the first race here at the Nurburgring is Christus Podens. Nicely done in the X12 BMW. Second home is Andy Gillone. Even with the penalty, he's going to make no difference at all. It's Ambition 2 and 3. Alex Jameson rounding out the podium. Alex Saunders in 4th. Roy Grassi 5th. Here comes David Moll fending off the advances of Josh Quincy. And actually, Aaron Large did gain both of them. Or did he? No, he didn't. I beg your pardon. He actually remained behind them. I thought he had actually jumped ahead, but no. Roy Grassi 5th. Moll, Quincy, Large in 6, 7, 8. Then Toby O in 9. Mark Werrell fended off the advances of Chris Callahan for 10th position. Then Nick Bailey in 12. JP McKinley 13. It's a shame for the penalty for Colin Dunn there. Carl Benson 14. Colin Dunn 15. Stu Neal 16. And right at the end, Brendan Van Heiden chasing Matt Webb home for wooden spoon avoidance. But the South African losing out on that one. So before any steward's intervention, the positions look like so. It is Podens in 1st, Gillone 2nd, Jameson 3rd, Saunders 4th, Grassi in 5th, Moll 6th, Quincy in 7th, Large in 8th, O in 9, Mark Werrell 10, Callahan 11, Nick Bailey 12, McKinley 13, Carl Benson 14, Colin Dunn 15, Stu Neal 16, Matt Webb 17, and Brendan Van Heiden at the tail end of the field with, I mean, you can see his fastest lap with a 2.4 flat would have well and truly put him in the top quarter where he had been for quite some time, but alas was not going to remain that way, as we have our podium contingent coming to join me, which is always nice to see, always welcome to have them. Let's get the interview music in and let's have a chat with them. Let's firstly have a natter to a man who may have finally overcome his technical gremlins, Alex Jameson.
Hello, yes, I think most of those issues are now out the way, fortunately, so yeah, that's a relief.
Well, my goodness, did you have a lot of fending off to do? No, we're used to you dancing off into the distance, but yeah, you had a lot of company from particularly Roy Grassi in the beginning.
Yeah, I've done a whole fresh install, so I've kind of lost all my settings on my steering and whatnot, so I'm kind of just trying to fine tune everything again to get it how I like it. But yeah, beginning to find some pace again, which is good. But yeah, I just couldn't keep up with the front guys today. They were just way too fast.
Absolutely. But glad to have you back with us, Mr. Jameson. What are your thoughts towards Nurburgring? Is it a track that tends to do well for you?
I do enjoy it here. I love driving it, but clearly didn't have the pace to keep up with the front two. So yeah, can't say I do too well, clearly.
Random Grid race number 2. We know that not everybody's a great fan of them. What are your thoughts towards the chaos that ensues?
When it works out in your favor, it's great. When it doesn't, then it's the worst idea anyone's ever had. So, no, I think it's fun. It gives everyone a shot at having a great race, getting up in the front running positions. Yeah, so I'm all for the reverse grids, even if they do cause a bit of carnage.
Excellent stuff. Couldn't have put it better myself. Best of luck for the remaining rounds of the night. Thank you very much, Alex Jameson.
Cheers, thank you.
Well, once again, Mr. Podens, we have the honour of speaking to yourself. And I think it's fair to say the first half of the race wasn't all your own way, was it? You had to fight.
Well, I appreciate Andrex putting up the fight with me, to be honest. Otherwise I would have just, driven away. But instead I got a little fight, which is always welcome. So, yeah, in the end of the day, I still won. So, the result is expected.
Yeah, the result still goes our way. I mean, Alton Park 2 weeks ago was a bit of a mixed bag for you. Absolutely decimated the field in race 1, but had a few gremlins in the remaining rounds. Here just looked very second nature to you. Is again, same question to you as I asked to Alex, is Nurburgring a favourite for you?
Well, I definitely like it better than Alton Park, that's for sure. Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of experience on the track, so that's probably why I have such great pace. But overall, just the track is a lot longer, so the skill gaps can be seen a lot more, easier. You see the gaps between me and P2 was like a second, and that's basically because the track is so long. But, I mean, in terms of lap times only, I'd say that the shorter tracks are probably more entertaining because the field is a lot closer. But, yeah. There's not much else to say, really.
Fair enough. So, random grid for next race. What are your thoughts towards the randomness?
Hopefully I start at the back, so it's more interesting.
Fair enough. Now, we are due to have some weather, I understand, later on. Is this going to hinder you in any way, or are you still going to sail off into the distance?
Honestly, I'm not sure because I'll be going for a very risky strategy and be staying out on the slicks.
Nice. We very much look forward to that in the final race of the night. Best of luck, and I don't think you need it because you're monstrously quick, but we wish you it nonetheless. Thank you very much, Christus Podens. Now, Mr. Gillone hasn't joined us for the chat. He doesn't have to, it's not obligatory, but it's always nice to have a natter to the mighty Scotsman, but he's opted to just collect his thoughts and ready himself for race number 2, which will be getting underway very, very shortly. Don't go anywhere. As mentioned, it is the random grid race. So the server just plonks them in position and they run with it from there. Now, I believe this race is due to be dry but cloudy. Not that that's going to make an awful lot of difference as far as grip conditions are concerned, but race number 3 is when the weather is going to descend. Very much looking forward to that. Don't go anywhere. We will get underway very, very soon. To the track side we go. Excellent. Right. So race number 2, as you can see, is loading in. So we will get our windows into position. And then we will see what is what, who is going to start where. I personally love random grid races. I know not everybody is a fan of them. I absolutely love them. I think they're brilliant. It does give other people an opportunity to have a crack at the front, but sometimes just the cards don't go that way, and you get put in really awkward positions, etc., etc. But I absolutely love it. I've always been a fan of random grid races. Just waiting for the last few to load in. We have lost one. Carl Benson had to deal with the situation at home, so he will not be with us this time. So it's just 17 runners, and it's Jameson on the front row with Nick Bailey. Okay, so Nick Bailey was fighting for wooden spoon avoidance at one point in last race, so that's a bit of a mixture. It's Alex Saunders and Josh Quincy taking on row 2. Mark Werrell and Stu Neal in row 3. Andy Gillone, Brendan Van Heeden, row 4. Roy Grassi and Chris Callahan on row 5. David Mull and Matt Webb in row 6. Toby Owen and Colin Dunn on row 7. Christus Podens and Aaron Large on row 8. And JP McKinley. He'll feel very upset by that one, I imagine, at the tail end of the field. As you can quite clearly see, it is very, very sunny, but not due to remain that way. Once again, it is the obligatory 2-minute countdown for everybody to ready up and make sure they set the setup they want to use out of the 2 default ones, the stable one or loose. Not always a distinct difference between them. It's more personal preference, etc., etc. Here we go then. Race number 2, the random grid race here at the Nurburgring for the penultimate round of the season. It is time to wind them up and let them go. And that's an absolute cracking start. It's a jump start from Andy Gillone. That's going to be a 20-second penalty, and it is. Here it comes on the outside. He's not letting that hold him back, but that is going to be very detrimental to his finishing position. There's Stu Neal. So it is ambition 1, 2, and 4. It's a BMW fest up front. Josh Quincy trying to hold on to that. There's Nick Bailey trying to do something about it. Right up there, side by side with Stu Neal coming through turn 3. Now starting to come back down the hill. A bit of a tail wag from Stu Neal, and nearly loses his nose to the back of the scuzzle. That's someone going over the infield there. Whoa, there's Roy Grassi really, really deep, but has managed to make it stick. Mark Werrell, my goodness, you nearly had your door taken off, sir. By the minty accented Renault, and an impact between Mark Werrell and Roy Grassi, but both of them live to drive another day. And Andy Gillone's down to 11th, then he's spun. Oh no, he's been collected. Just as I switch the mark to Andy Gillone, he's been utterly wrecked. He's allowed to reset to track when he is upside down. Oh no, bits of car remaining behind. What on earth? Even the greats make mistakes. That's a huge issue for Andy Gillone, but Alex Jameson just dancing off into the sunset. Quincy is second, fending off the advances of Alex Saunders and Nick Bailey right with it. Look at this chain of cars here. No, you would be forgiven for thinking that Josh Quincy was the was the cork in the bottle here. Absolutely not. Josh Quincy is blindingly quick. All of these drivers are very, very fast indeed. Some of them more so on their day, but my goodness, absolute line of cars. Aaron Large is at the tail end of it. This is on board with the banana split flavour BMW. Oh, that's David Moore getting a little bit sideways coming through turn 13. And banzais the inside of Mark Werrell coming into the Vito chicane. Mark forced to take a little bit of a wider line, and then goes defensive heading towards the final turn to keep Aaron Large at bay, and does so. Right behind is Callahan with Matt Webb and Christus Podens. Unusual for Podens not to have wrestled his way through the field. Is what he tends to do, but hasn't done so this time. McKinley 14, Dunn 15, Toby Owen 16. There they are side by side. Coming down the side of the finish, and Andy Gillone opted not to pit, amazingly. You can see with his battered BMW, I suspect he might feel that it's rather pointless. 20-second penalty on the cards already for the mighty Scotsman. Whoa, that's Stu Neal that's wandering very, very wide. Coming through the Mercedes arena. Mark Werrell right behind him. David Moll right ahead of him. Oh, look at Alex Saunders now, side by side with Roy Grassi coming down into turn 6. Whoa, Brendan Van Eden getting interested there, bit of an turn. Brendan Van Eden's round his tangle with Nick Bailey. Oh my goodness me. How are they going to rejoin the track? There comes Canahan and Christus Podens. And they've managed to survive. Look at that. But yeah, there was a tangle there, definite tangle there between Nick Bailey and Brendan Van Eden. That's sent them both down the field. There goes Podens on the inside of Chris Canahan coming through the Dunlop curve and up into 11th place for the mighty BMW. Look at that, third down to 16th in one big long line. Andy Gillon is pretty much destined to finish last in this particular race unless anybody else has any major problems. The entire field bookended by Ambition Racing BMWs as Jameson is just dancing off into the distance. That's what we were accustomed to seeing him doing in the last couple of seasons. There's Josh Quincy with the entire back score him. There's Mark Werrell now up into 7th position, fending off the advances of Aaron Larch and Brendan Van Eden right behind him. Keeps it on the straight and narrow though. Bit of a gap between himself and Stu Neal ahead. There goes Nick Bailey trying to defend against Christus Podens, but he made the defence slightly too late. The Renault is slightly ahead of the BMW. Can he shut the door? He can. But you know full well, that's actually, I was going to say, he's going to slipstream down to the turn 1, but because Podens had a bit of a compromised exit from that final turn, he doesn't have the momentum. Big lock up there. There's a huge move anyway from Christus Podens into turn 1. Is Nick Bailey going to try and come back underneath him? He does try to. Now Mark Werrell has gone up into 6th. Well, he may well have made a move. I think someone's fallen through the field. Who's fallen through the field? Could be Chris. I think it's Chris Canahan. There's Stu Neal, who's worked his way past the pink accented Renault. We did see a lot of tyre smoke heading down towards turn 1. Look at this. This is about a second going on here. Then Mark Werrell's got a whole host of cars right behind him. There's Quincy, Saunders, Grassi and Moll having an argument for second place. And a little bit behind them is Mark Werrell fending off the advances of Aaron Large and Brendan Van Eden. Very soon to be joined by Christus Podens right on the tail of that particular pack. As is always the way, it's fighting absolutely everywhere to be found. Behind them is Nick Bailey, Stu Neal and Chris Canahan. Matt Webb leads this particular four-car conga line of himself, JP McKinley, Colin Dunn and Toby Owen. There's Andy Gillon sliding the car into the Schumacher's, and there's Alex Jameson leading the way. On board with the German of David Moll, as Toby Owen has got himself a track limit penalty. Ironic, it's the tail end cars that have got the penalty on the board. Whoops. There's a 2 second for Toby Owen. Oh, Brendan Van Eden going for a move on Aaron Large and Mark Werrell at the same time. My word, that was a huge move. Oh no, Aaron Large has tangled with Mark Werrell. They're stationary in the middle of the Vidal chicane. Oh my goodness, so maybe that move from Brendan Van Eden didn't go as cleanly as it had initially appeared on the stream. Oh my goodness me. So Mark Werrell from a champion, a great position, has now plummeted through the field. Now finds himself alongside JP McKinley, now in 12th position. Still time to go though. My goodness me. Wow, JP McKinley just chops the nose off of Mark Werrell. Mark's now come into the inside line into turn 1. Bounces off the door of JP McKinley. My goodness me, lots of tour banging, traditional touring car style. I mean, there was a round of the VTCC going on today. Now Andy Gillon's getting involved in there with his exceedingly battered BMW, and that's a spin. That is who was that? It was Colin. Well, Colin Dunn was caught up in that. It was Matt Webb. Matt Webb was the one that was spinning, and sadly Colin Dunn is the one that's really suffered as a result of that. There's Aaron Lance chasing Toby Owen. Mark Werrell is now back up into 11th position, chasing Chris Canahan. Now those two are they are your main opposition in the Go Bobby Cup as well. Chris Canahan currently leads away, but only 5 points over Mark Werrell being one of them. Oh, Chris has gone a little bit deep. Mark Werrell now in a position to really put the pressure on. Stu Neal on the inside of Nick Bailey right ahead of them. as a pair of 2x2s heading up to the Schumacher S's. Mark Worrell trying to get alongside and ahead of Chris Callahan, didn't quite come off this time, but Nick Bailey manages to fend off the advantage of Stu Neal, and right behind them here comes Toby Owen as well to get involved in that particular fight. And up front, that's David Moll on the back of Alex Saunders. Is David Moll going to try and bounce on that one on the inside of the VTOL? He did think about it. He's nudged the back of the Renault. Saunders just about hangs on to that one. So that's a great four-way fight for second position. There in the background is Brendan Van Heeden and Christus Podence. 6.5 minutes of the race to go. Oh no, trouble again on the VTOL chicane. Andy Kello's had to stop. As Chris Callahan was sideways in the track. JP McKinley's now going, gets a bit of a nudge in the face from the stricken BMW, and Aaron Large is in there as well. Oh my goodness me, and now, for some reason, Andy Gillen, I suspect he's going to retire his car. He's brought that one into the pits, as you can see. Oh no, that's Stu Neal! Well, Stu Neal has had trouble, and he's now gone round. Oh my days, Nick Bailey falling through the field. Nick Bailey in big... well, the car looks okay, but he's clearly having some issues there, as there's Stu Neal still fights, still got what feels like a whole world around him. But look at that! I mean, with all that going on, Toby Owen and Mark Worrell have broken away, and they are fighting for 8th position now. Now, there's some distance behind Brendan Van Heeden and Christus Podence fighting for... Whoa, that was a bit wide for Mark on the exit of turn 4. There goes Toby Owen. Mark had to get out of the pace then to not spin that one. That's through goes the number 42. Mark Worrell's not going to let that one go. He's going to keep the pressure on for that battle for 8th position. This battle for second has condensed again. Quincy, Grassi, Saunders and Moll. Saunders trying to pull alongside Roy Grassi, coming into turn 11 once again, but does not get alongside. Actually, we'll stick with that camera from David Moll. Saunders has managed to get the move done into turn 12, into the Bilstein curve, but can he hold it? Josh Quincy is just minding his own business essentially up front. Anders Jameson, you can just see him at the top of the shot. He's just untroubled. And Andy Gillen has indeed retired his car. Here comes David Moll. Is he going to try and bounce like that one on the inside of the VTOL chicane? He nudges the door of Roy Grassi, but firm but fair from the two Renaults. And up into 4th for the full send, number 33. Plenty of fighting still to conclude for these races, as Aaron Large has gone up into 12th, being pushed along the road by Stu Neal, the ambition number 14, having to go on the inside line coming up towards the VTOL chicane. Can he challenge for 12th? Or regain the 12th, I should say, and yes, he does. Toby Owen still trying to keep onto the back of Christus Podence, but doesn't manage it. So David Moll and Roy Grassi side by side through the first turn, still side by side again, but the home advantage going to David Moll, but he's just been undercut by Roy Grassi, who's going to have the inside line for turn 4, or turn 3 and 4 I should say, and that is 4th position back to Roy Grassi. He runs a little bit wide. Here comes David Moll. He's going to try and bounce like that on the inside of turn 6. There's Christus Podence watching on, and no, Moll doesn't go over the inside line of turn 6 at all. Right ahead of them, Saunders now up into 3rd position because of Roy Grassi and David Moll having their scrap. Saunders wanting to go for 2nd over Josh Quincy. 3.5 minutes to go. Brilliant stuff. Still, I mean, so many cars just glued together. Still, Toby Owen, Mark Worrell are glued together for 8th place. Oh, it's a shame to see you in chat in these circumstances, Mr. Gillone. We did indeed see that unfold. Mark Worrell doesn't actually have to do anything. He just has to stay glued to the tail end of Toby Owen, and he will inherit that 8th position. Actually, on board with Christus Podence, he's got a great ringside seat for the 4-way battle that he's now made a quintet. Oh, as David Moll bounces the inside of Roy Grassi going through turn 12. What a great move then for David Moll. And Saunders is ahead of Quincy, I've just realised. So Josh Quincy has lost that 2nd place. He's held all race long. And wow, how defensive was David Moll coming into the VTOL chicane. He did not want to allow Roy Grassi to bounce like that one. Here comes Podence. Can he gain a few positions? 2.5 minutes remaining. Thinks about an inside manoeuvre on Roy Grassi. But no, the Renault just manages to shut the door. But that is Saunders wide. Quincy through into 2nd. Moll could well take the 3rd. Not quite. Slots back into position. Fantastic stuff. All 5 of them just fighting tooth and nail. There goes Saunders. There goes Podans. On the inside, he's got Grassy. Can he slow that down? Oh, he somehow managed to shut that one down, slow that one down rather, before slamming into the back of someone. Roy Grassy thinking about a inside manoeuvre into turn 1, but doesn't quite come off as he's had a big spin. Roy Grassy has managed to catch that one before slamming into the wall, and Nick Beatty is making his own day worse with a penalty as well. That's what Aaron Large can see. Stu Neal and Chris Callaghan having their own fight. And right ahead of him, Mark Wells still fighting with Toby Owen. 1.5 minutes to go. As is a great battle for me to have, it is difficult to know where to look. As there's so many great battles going on, trying to cover them all is absolutely impossible. Saunders ahead of, Quincy ahead of Saunders. The BMW managed to retake that second position. Once again, I missed it. Apologies for that. David Moll in 4th with Podens 5th and Grassy in 6th. Still so close together. And none of that pack have any penalties at all. Oh, Quincy was slow coming through the Schumacher S's. Moll is interested as well. Side by side with Quincy and Saunders. Oh, and my goodness me. Podens had to get out of that one through fear of being absolutely crushed in between the 2 Renaults. And now through turn 12, heading down towards the Vidal once again. Where is Jameson? He's likely to beat the flag from there. Let's ride on board with Roy Grassy then, side by side between Moll and Saunders. David Moll going for an outside line coming into the Vidal, but that's going to compromise him, and he's going to bounce off the BMW. Roy Grassy bounces off the back of Moll. Oh no, David Moll challenging for 3rd, ends up falling down to 6th briefly, regains 5th. Here comes Podens sideways through the final turn. Saunders is back up into 2nd, and now Jokuk, he's getting a big old slipstream from the back of Saunders. Saunders goes to the defensive inside line, and Jokuk's going to try and split the seas through the middle. Is he going to be able to get it done? Josh Quincy goes for the inside line, and somehow they all survive. The checkered flag is out. Jameson's just having a Sunday drive up front. Quincy holds on to 2nd, but now is Podens in 3rd, unless Saunders can take that position again. Not quite. And the inside line coming through the next turn, but no, Quincy's having none of it. But Podens is insisting. And here comes Roy Grassy now to try and advance his positions. And now the conga line is being led by Christus Podens. My word, he's timed that absolutely perfectly. Glued together is Grassy and Quincy, as Quincy's very sideways. Quincy managed to hold on to that one. I thought that was a spin for sure. Down towards the Dunlop curve for the final time in this race. My word. And that's the inside line for Alex Saunders, who's now fallen into 6th position with everything going on. Where is our race leader? He's not quite at the flag yet. My word. And still, Mark Werrell and Toby Owen just glued to one another. Is that... Oh no, not again. Technical trouble for Brendan Van Heeden. Here we go. Once again, Christopher Podens, now having gotten into 2nd place, is likely to maintain that unless he makes a mistake in the dying corners of this race. Yeah, Jameson's not quite there yet. My goodness me, the race is still very hot, absolutely everywhere. Oh, Josh Quincy very sideways. Here comes Saunders trying to get the inside line through the final turn. Your winner for race number 2 is the Ambition Racing BMW of Alex Jameson. Podens is going to take 2nd. Roy Grassy will run down the podium. Quincy 4, Saunders 5, Moll so close to the podium this time, but 6th position for him. Brendan Van Heeden, can he fend off the advances of Toby Owen and Mark Werrell? It looks like he will be able to just about, but Mark Werrell is going to gain at least 1 position from this, from where he finishes, and he does indeed gain the 1 position from Toby Owen. So it's Brendan Van Heeden 7, Mark Werrell in 8th, Toby Owen 9, Stu Neal for Ambition will come over the line in 10th. Wow, that's a battered Aaron Large in 11th for Falcon. Then Chris Callaghan comes over the line in 12th, Colin Dunn 13, Nick Beatty fends off the Celtic Bromance represented JP McKinley for, well, they swapped around anyway due to penalties, but over the line at least JP McKinley ahead of ahead of the Scuzzle. And sadly, we lost Andy Gillone in the course of the race. But without Stewart's intervention, it is Alex Jameson on the top step. It is Kristen Podens in second, Roy Grassley third, Josh Quincy fourth, Alex Saunders fifth, David Mole sixth, Brendan Van Heeden seventh, Mark Merrill eighth, Toby Owen in ninth, Stu Neal in 10th, Aaron Large in 11th, Chris Callahan in 12th, Colin Dunn in 13, JP McKinley 14, Nick Bailey in 15. As mentioned, we did lose Andy Gillone. We also lost another. There was Matt Webb. We also lost in that race. My wow, that was a lot of. Well, that was a lot of everything, quite frankly. So I very much look forward to having a chat with anybody that wants to have a, come and have a chat with me. We tend to want to chat to our podium three. But I would, if I have time, I will generally chat to anybody that wants to come and have a chat with me. Oh, I definitely need a drink after that. And we have rain in the last race as well. Fantastic. Rain on a random grid race, I think, would be probably a little bit too cruel. We have one of our podium three. It's our third place man, Roy Grassley. It's been a while since we've had a chat to you, but very glad to have a chat to you once again. Roy, are you with us?
Hi, Chris. Yeah, crikey. That was an intense race, that was.
Wow.
Really good race.
What a scrap. 5-way fight for the last two podium spots.
Oh, it was incredible. Yeah, good racing by everybody, I have to say. Yeah, brilliant stuff.
Oh my goodness. So where were you envisioning getting the minty accented Renault on this race? I mean, the random grid race is always, by its very nature, always very up in the air, but my word, I mean, was a podium on the cards for you, do you think, or were you taking advantage of other people's misfortune?
Well, yeah, I mean, you saw a brace of BMWs near the front. I mean, it was just good quality drivers pretty much all the way to the front in front of me. I think I started 9th. So I thought, crikey, if I've managed to finish where I am, that'll do. So, yeah, I think there was a couple of things obviously happened up front I didn't see, or why people have dropped out or whatever. But I did make up some places at some point, quite a heavy amount of places. I think there might have been some issues down at that in the first sector, and there was sort of tight bends. I passed about 3 at once, so I don't know if they were scrapping or what, and I just snuck through. But,
very nicely done. So it's some inclement weather on the horizon for race number 3. What are your thoughts towards that?
Well, normally welcome a bit of dodgy weather, so see what happens.
We're British after all, we're used to it.
Absolutely, being Scottish, yeah, absolutely.
Best of luck for the remaining race of the night. Thank you very much, Roy Grassley.
Thanks, Chris.
Also with me in the box is Josh Quincy.
Hello.
Glad to have you with us. Well, again, you had a lot to do as well.
Yeah, that made me sweat.
Now you've got are you outside? You've got birdsong going on from your microphone.
Oh, I've got my window open. I'll shut that for you.
All right, I was going to say, wow, you have a rig outside. I mean, that's impressive.
Oh, I wish I would have been able to cool down a little bit. I was hot during that.
I bet you were.
Yeah, I was just trying to fight. I just wanted a podium, but no. Again, I've been denied it again.
But
to be fair, yeah.
But you were right there for so long, and I think it's fair to say it could have been any of that quintet that you were in that would have come home with the big points. But my word, I mean, again, very well driven. You probably have you lost like a stone in sweat?
Probably, yeah. I'm gonna have to have a shower after this. It's it was. I knew I wasn't on the pace. That was the thing. So it was just trying to hold them off as much as I could. I didn't want to try anything too crazy or push it too hard because I just wanted to finish the race really. I was happy. I would be happy at top 10, any position there. So a 4th place isn't. Yeah, it's still a good outcome, isn't it? So yeah.
Now you are one of the BMW contingent. What are your thoughts towards the wet weather?
What was that? Sorry.
As you're one of the BMW contingent, what are your thoughts towards the wet weather coming?
Oh, I love the rain. It seems usually I do better in the rain, apart from last week. Had a bit of a moment there, but no, usually my best results are in the rain, so I'm hoping for some good things, but I don't think I can really improve on what I've done in that race. Yeah, so I'll give it my best shot.
That's all we can ever expect. But good luck for the final round. Thank you very much, Josh Quincy.
Brilliant. Cheers. See ya.
Well, we don't have our race winner in. Mr. Jameson has opted not to come and have a chat, which is absolutely fine. Doesn't have to. But he's probably relieved that he's able to get a good haul of points on the board, considering how bad his luck has been throughout this season. Right then, so we wait for the qualifying session to get underway for race number 3. Now, the qualifying session will start dry and go wet, I believe. Other way around, beg your pardon. It's actually going to start a little damp and go dry. So, that's going to be interesting to see. And then the race forecast is going to start dry and get wet. Now, it's always going to be a bit of a lottery on how wet it's going to get and when the rain will fall. Now, some people may opt to stay on the slick tyres if the rain comes towards the end of the race. But if the rain falls in the first third of the race, in the first 5 minutes, I suspect most people will come into pit. But it's also whether people have actually practiced a pit stop. We will see. Okay, so we will keep the music rolling for the countdown to the next race. Oh, sorry, the next qualifying session. Don't go anywhere, as I tend to say, this is going to be good. And trackside we go for the final qualifying session of the night. Let's see how well that goes for our competitors now. As a reminder, it will start a little damp and then get drier as the session goes on. The race is the reverse weather of that. Let's turn the slideshow off and get ready to go. Last few loading in. And we'll get this final race of the night, or final qualifying session for the final race of the night underway. 17 drivers are back with us. Sadly, Matt Webb did not return, but Mr. Benson did. And straight out there is the mighty BMW of Christus Podens. Now, wow, that's exuberant. Giving that absolutely plenty of beans in the only way the BMW knows how. My goodness. So then, it's going to be interesting to see how well the drivers do this. Oh dear. Caught the apex of turn 4 a little bit too hard and parks it on the outside. Let's Roy Grassy through. It's going again. I'm not surprised that a lot of people are opting to come out in this session because, if nothing else, it's wet weather practice. Nick Bailey, Alex Jameson, Chris Canna. Oh no, so just going through the list of people that haven't moved yet. And Jameson has now opted to go. Nick Bailey hasn't. Chris Canahan is just coming out now. Brendan has not come out. So just 2 cars yet to grace the track, and that's a big pack of people. Where is our championship leader? That's not him. That's him. Now, Andy Gillone has always said that the BMW is at its best in the wet weather conditions. Not that anything has been able to dethrone the BMWs yet anyway. JP McKinley cautiously tiptoeing through the Dunlop curve. Nick Bailey opting... Oh no, out he comes. I wondered whether Nick was actually going to stay there until the wet weather had gone, as we see Stu Neal bouncing over the grass. We've seen how well these guys do in the dry conditions. So you can see the sunlight is already out. So these conditions will improve, but it's going to give our drivers some valuable practice time on the wet weather conditions. Not expecting massive, standing water. I think it's only light rain the drivers are seeing. But it will stop at some point. But again, it's going to be a question of when it stops, and is it realistically going to dry up to any degree that the slicks are going to be a viable option? Who knows? And I think... Oh no, it's Roy Grassy that's the lead car, so let's ride on board with the with the Renault and see how tricky the conditions are. Oh dear, that's a reluctant Renault to try and turn through turn 3 over the apex of turn 4. That's where Christie's span round earlier. With the crest for the cut through and then through turn 6. It sounds quite cautious from the Renault. It certainly seems that way from the spectator's camera. He may well have very other thoughts about whether he's being cautious or not. Probably not a lot of heat on the tyres yet either. Oh, Brendan Van Heeden has gone off the road somewhere. And Nick Bailey has come out on circuit, so all 17 drivers have returned to the track. And Brendan Van Heeden's returned to it. Oh no, he's gone in the pits this time, so... Is there still trouble for the South African? As back into the pit lane he comes. Where is Roy? Yes. I'm not seeing a lot of standing water out there. Fair amount of spray, that tends to always be the case from the external camera. Into the Vito chicane. There's Podens. Not quite sure who that is directly behind Christers at this point. Through the final turn, so what is the first time that is on the board in the wet? It is a 2:15.3. What does Mr. Bowden get? A 2:14.3 for Christers. 2:15.4. That's David Moult, who's the third car on the road. Where are the 2:16.1? 2:16.5 for Stu Neal. Andy Gillen with a 2:14.8. Oh, sorry, Brendan. Am I giving things away? Oh, Andy Gillode is giving it a touch of the rallying again. He is a fan of the slippery conditions. Actually, someone that by his own admission, loves things a bit more slidey. Well, he's the founder. It is the Toby Owen. Now, that did look like there was a fair amount of water gathered down the inside of turn 4 as he lets Mark Werrell go. Where's Mr. James? I went to click on Alex Jameson's name. As Mr. Quincy has gone up into third with a 2:15.0, has jumped back to the pits now. That looks like the rain is very much slowed down. And the rain is going to be stopping very, very soon as we are fast approaching the halfway stage in the quali session. Oops, that's not gone well for Toby Owen as he's fast line to the wall. Actually, so it's 2-0, isn't it? Brendan Van Heeden is back out on track, so whatever his plan is, it doesn't involve sitting there until the sun has come out and dried the track out. Jameson now up into second with a 2:14.7, a 10th ahead of his fellow Ambition Racing BMW. Wow, again, that's far more water than I was expecting to gather on the exit of turn 4 there. Jameson giving it plenty of beans as Christus Podent has returned back to the pit lane. Again, from the outside, it just looks effortless, but I can absolutely tell you it isn't. To get these BMWs to slide like that in the dry is hard enough, let alone in the wet. That's Vidal's chicane's just gone through. There's Mark Werrell as well. Where's Mark? 10th position with a 2:16.1. Only 400ths of a second behind Chris Callahan. Does Mark Werrell improve? He does. A 2:15.8 for Mark. Sees him in 8th position. Does Andy Gillard improve? He does. That's a new pole time with a 2:14.2. Right behind him, is that Callahan? No, Callahan is the pink accented car. Only in 10th with 2:16.1. Brendan yet to get a time on the board. The rain has stopped. Well, certainly stopped at this part of the circuit. You can see way too much water to be thinking about slick tyres. The Ambition pair still trudging on. Oh, Jameson! Well caught, sir. That was a great catch there from the South African. The top 5 are all BMWs. Oh, now there's a name I recognise. Well, hello there, Az Turbo from the AOR camp. Hello to you, sir. Good to see you. We have lost one from the lineup, and I believe we have lost our Leeds Racing, Mr. Carl Benson. That would be a shame. Does look like it. Oh no, never mind. It was him, and he's reappeared. How I keep doing that? I keep leaning my right finger on my second mouse button. Glad to see Carl was able to return, so I was right. It was Carl that had left the session. Aronage, 2:15.118, sees him in 5th position at the moment. Top 4 in the pits, probably waiting for the wet weather to disappear. Oh, it is close up top. And Gillone is back out along with, that's the Celtic Bromance Renault of JP McKinley. There comes Christus Podent as well. If they're braving slicks, that is not the time to be doing it. Look how much water is still down. By the way that no one is just flying off the road, I think people are still on the wet tyres. I don't reckon it's going to get dry enough quick enough for slicks to be a viable option. Comes Aaron Lars then. 5th position with a 2:15.18 for the banana split BMW. And that is 3rd with a 2:14.520. Nicely done. Roy Grassi on the podium for race 2. He only sees himself in 6th position. Behind him is rank dropper as his online online gamer tag says it is Carl Benson. There he is in the top of the shot. David Moll is hustling Mark Werrell. Now they're side by side on the starting grid, currently occupying row 4, and Mark Werrell's just let the home racer of David Moll through. Oh, that's a bit deep going into Dunlop Curve. You can argue it's a little stereotypical to say, oh, you must have a home advantage because you're German and this is a German track. Well, yes, I grant you that's a stereotypical attitude to have, but just meaning that it shares the same nationality as the circuit. Our South African pair are close to one another. Brandon Van Heeden currently 9th with a 2:15.8. And right behind him is Alex Jameson, currently 5th, beg your pardon, just been demoted with a 2:14.7. As Roy Grassi has now got the top spot. Now, is this an indication that the track is drying because there's no spray coming off the back of his car as he bounces back to the pits? There is definitely spray out there, but I think this time is going to start to tumble down now. No improvement from Andy Ginone. Chris's Podence right behind. Out comes Roy Grassi. No point trying slicks, there's just too much water out there. There's Nick Bailey. David Moll has got himself a grid penalty as well for speeding in the pit lane. It's 8th position for him. Mark Werrell demoted to 9th. Is the commentator himself going to improve? No. He remains where he is at the moment in 9th position, 2:15.6. Brendan Van Heeden's returned to the pits, 3 minutes still on the clock. Aaron Large now has the pole time on the 2:13.4. That's Alex Jameson right behind. Does he improve? No. 2:14.7 remains his time. It's going to be who's last over the line, isn't it? You see a definitive dry line forming there. There's no spray there for Chris Callahan. Whoa! And then the top of the shot there was seeing Aaron Large going for a bit of a... Well, he's having a celebratory donut, it seems. I doubt it. He's just gotten a little bit too exuberant with the right foot, which is very easy to do in this car, in these conditions. Carl Benson yet to get a time on the board. Coming through turn 12, through the Bilstein curve. Didn't quite see who that was ahead of him. Still very wet there. Big puddle on the inside of turn 13 there. So slicks are not going to be an option. 2 minutes to go. The track just simply won't dry enough. Colin Dunn and Brendan Van Heeden in the pits at the moment. There's definitely a dry line forming, so there is time still to be gained. Here comes Carl Benson. What can he get on the board? Over the line. And that is 9th with a 2:15.6. Toby Owen, I think that is behind. And that's 2:18.1. Andy Gallone with a 2:10.7, along with Chris's Podence. Both of them 2:10.7, 2:10.717 for Andy Gillone, and 2:10.783 for Christus Podence. JP McKinley up into 5th. Nicely done. 2:14.474. As Brendan Van Heeden and Chris Callahan have returned to the pits, they will not improve from their respective positions. But well, everybody else is out there, and that's very wide for JP McKinley. Toby Owen is currently our last place man. He's been chased by Stu Neal, and he's catching up with Carl Benson as well. So this could catch him out a little bit. No, it wasn't Stu Neal, it was Andy Gillone. And both him and Podence have spun. He's either gone for slicks or he's just having fun. He's probably boiled his rear tyres as well. And that's Roy Grassi's gone through, so they won't be improving. There's Aaron Large still in 4th position now with that 2:13.4, and round you go. Jameson is up into 3rd then, so once again the BMW 1234. Oh, Brendan Van Heeden's plan didn't work. Jameson is chasing Mark Werrell. Checker flag is now out. If Mark's on a hot lap, then he does not have to yield. Oh, side by side. That's not going to help either of you, really. I mean, Mark Werrell could pick up a bit of slipstream, but he may feel a bit aggrieved by that. But that's the nature of the of qualifying. If both of you are on a hot lap, you don't have, neither of you will yield. Mark's a little deep, going through Dunlop curve, probably put off by the fact that the South African's right ahead of him. And it's Alex Saunders that's got the top spot now with a 209.6 in the Renault, demoting Andy Gillon, who has already spun, so he can't improve. Jameson we saw getting past Mark Werrell. Where's Josh Quincy? He's got some way to go yet. Just chucking that in. That's not going to hold. It's fun to do when you do hold it. There's Aaron Large just going through Dunlop. Toby Owens back in the pits. My goodness. JP McKinley, 9th position, 2:14.4 his previous time. That's the Scuzzle. No improvement from 2:17.8. So he'll be starting on the back. What was the penalty for David Moll? 1 place penalty. Here comes Alex Jameson. As he catches that dry bit, does he improve? 2:11.401 in 4th. And that's the pole time of 2:08.2. Here comes Mark Werrell. He improves to 11th with 2:14.8, but he no doubt lost some time with that inadvertent duel he was having with Alex Jameson there. Here comes Aaron Large, 8th position, 2:13.498 for the banana split treble 1 BMW. And that's a 2... someone improve then? No, I think just people returning to the pit. No improvement there. JP McKinley is under air control, as is Mark Werrell. Colin Dunn. Someone isn't. Everybody, it seems, is under AI control. Someone isn't. Is it Nick Bailey? Well, it looks like AI control to me. We know you are. We know you are. Someone's not. Otherwise the session would have ended. Oh well, the session will force itself to end in a few seconds anyway. Well, well, well. So Alex Jameson is going to take the top spot by a clear second, just by good timing. And there it is. And it's Alex Saunders that rounds out row 1. Then it is Gillone and Podurns on row 2. Stu Neal and Josh Quincy on row 3. Roy Grassi and Aaron Large row 4. David Moll and Toby Owen on row 5. JP McKinley and Mark Werrell will take on row 6. Carl Benson and Brendan Van Heeden row 7. Then Chris Callahan and Colin Dunn on row 8. And it is Nick Bailey in the wooden spoon spot at the back of the field. Now, as a reminder, it's starting cloudy, so everybody will be on slick tyres, but it will rain, and it will rain pretty hard. So that's what it looks like at the front at the moment. So the weather we've just seen is all gone. But as you can see from the cloud cover at the top, it's going to return pretty quick. Now, there will be some trying the no-stop strategy. There always are. But I suspect that was the risky strategy that Christos Podurns was alluding to when we spoke to him after race 1. Let's see if that works out for him. It may well do. If the rain comes very late in the race, which is certainly possible, then, you know, stopping for, unless everybody piles in, but, you know, making the pit stop may not actually be the quicker way to do it. But we will see. This, you know, these things on slicks on a wet track is very, 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 very hard to deal with. Front-wheel drive cars are a little easier in those circumstances, but not by a lot. Right then, so once again, it is the obligatory 2-minute countdown. People just need to select the setup they're going to run and hit that ready button. 30 seconds, but also people may well be making a pit strategy to change tyres. If they haven't done so already, they've got 30 seconds with which to finish it, or they will not be starting the race at all. 20 more seconds. Let's see who hasn't got this right, or if someone's had a technical trouble. Ooh, 10 more seconds. So it's been, oh, everyone's made it. Everybody has made it. So I wonder if someone had a quick buy of that. Right then, for the final time tonight, It is time to wind them up and let them go. And who is going to have the greatest start? And once again, it's an absolute cracker from the Ambition Racing BMWs. That is leaving port. Alex Saunders absolutely stranded almost. That's a terrible start for Christus Podens. He's down into, what was 7th briefly, but he's got Alex Saunders on his own inside line trying to turn in, but there's a Renault there. A horrific start for the X12. Now, you can bog down pretty easily in the BMWs. It may look like they always start well. That isn't always the case. He's going to have the inside line coming into turn 3 and should gain that third position back. Oh, he's going very quickly, but has managed to hold it. Jameson leads. Gillone second. Quincy third. Neil fourth. Podens in 5th. Saunders down to 6th place. He was always going to find it pretty difficult to hold on to front west. Oh, wow, that was a big move from Podens. Nudges the side of Stu Neal going through turn 7. He wants to get back towards the front before the weather changes, I suspect. Ooh, it's a very, very risky move to try. But he's made it. Oh, my goodness, and through as well. Alex Saunders. And there's Roy Grassi trying to make Stu Neal's day even worse. My word, that's a great tussle. It looks like everybody has survived. We've got no big stragglers there. So no big incidents so far. Now I've said it, expect one. It's Colin Dunn currently in the tail end position. Oh, that looked a bit uncertain for Alex Jameson coming through into turn 11 and 12. But he's kept it good and true. Look at this. Already Podens hustling for third position side by side with Josh Quincy. Is Josh going to try and banzai that one on the inside of the Vidal chicane? Christus Podens going to have the racing line, but Josh Quincy will have the inside line coming into the Vidal chicane. Through go the Ambition pair, and that is 4th still for Podens, but a bit of a compromised exit for Josh Quincy. Can he fend off Christus Podens? Right behind is Alex Saunders, and behind him Stu Neal side by side. Roy Grassi on the inside line, and it's also David Moore trying to capitalise on the compromise line that Stu Neal had to take, but can't quite do so. Slots back into 8th position right behind Mark. You can see Mark Werrell is fending off JP McKinley. That's for 13th position. Very hard to the inside line for Mark Werrell. So he's lost some positions on the start. McKinley trying and it's out. Ooh, outside line coming into turn 1. Bit of a nudge. Oh, wow. And McKinley and Nick Beatty bounce off one another quite hard there. There is Carl Benson trying to keep up with Brendan Van Heedem. Up front, though, Jameson and Gillone. We've seen these two cross-swords many a time, but not too much this season. Yeah, Ambition leads Celtic Bromance. But it all is likely to change when that weather falls, and it's falling already. There it is, look. The wet weather has fallen already, so there goes any option of doing a no-stopper. I cannot see that anyone trying the no-stop is going to work, because that rain has fallen way too early. And it's just the normal rain category, so it's going to fall pretty hard, and we will have standing water. So I cannot see anybody trying to make a no-stopper work. But then I've been proven wrong when it comes to strategies in the past. But now is going to be the horrible time, particularly for our lead few. Do they pit straight away, because that rain is falling pretty hard? Or do they risk it another lap? No, I would say that already is wet enough to justify the wet. Because look at the sheen of the road. It's already getting very, very shiny. Or it certainly was a couple of corners ago. I would seriously think about them coming in there. You can see the reflection on the road. Is anyone going to be coming in? No. Oh, yeah, we go. We've got Saunders coming in. Saunders, Grassi, Mole. Yeah, a lot of people coming in. I reckon they're right. Personally, already the spray's coming off the back of the tyres. Look. Ooh, I think it's risky to try and stretch that out another lap. Wow, look at that. So Saunders, Grassi, Mole, Owen. Look at that lot. Neil, Werrell, McKinley, Bailey, and Callahan all in. The top 8 have opted to stay out. You heard the engine just die on Colin Dunn's car. He's just completely locked up. So Jameson, Gillone, Podens, and there they are just tiptoeing now. Quincy, Large, Benson, and there is Carl Benson trying to tiptoe his way past Aaron Large. Van Heeden and Dunn have all opted to continue. Brave. Let's just ride on board with Josh Quincy as he watches the lead 3 slide around. As Gillo now leads the way. Podence is up into second as he bounces off of Alex Jameson. And already it does look like that the lead is being challenged for from Podence. Is he going to try and banzai that one on the inside of Dunlop? I think Gillen just went, well, go on then. You're brave enough to try that. And he has made it stick, in fairness. The top 4 BMWs somehow surviving. There is Carl Benson up into 5th, ahead of Brendan Van Heeden. Aaron Large has fallen down into 7th, ruining the decision he's just made. Colin Dunn is on his tail. But leading the pit stoppers is actually Alex Saunders. There's Grassy in 10th with Nick Bailey right on his case. And David Muller's lost out a little bit, down into 12th. There's Mark Werrell with JP McKinley. So they were fighting each other before. And Mark Werrell now ahead of the Celtic Bromance Renault. Then it is Callahan, Toby Owen and Stu Neal. Stu Neal having an inside look on Toby Owen. No, doesn't quite come off. And look at this. Now the front-wheel drive car's in, with slick tyres on. Oh, I was going to say having a bit of an easier time of it as Carl Benson bounces off of Brendan Van Heeden. But I actually think that the front-wheel drive cars are having an easier time. And, oh my goodness me, now Podence is going for the no-stopper, I reckon. In comes Gello, Jameson, Quincy. Not from Brendan Van Heeden as he nearly loses the tail. And Carl Benson. Now, Brendan Van Heeden has made the no-stopper work before, but I'm not convinced the wet weather was this heavy. How on earth are you going to slow that car down? Gently is the honest answer to that. So the top 3 are continuing. Colin Dunn now over to 4th. He's continued as well. I think that strategy is going to favour the Renault better. The slick tyres on the wet track. But I'm not convinced that's going to work at all. I think the weather is too heavy. When Brendan Van Heeden made this work, it was light rain, and it was much later than this, I'm fairly sure. Carl Benson staying on the back of Brendan Van Heeden for 2nd position. I do not know how Podence is making that work. How long he can make it work for is to be seen. There's Aaron Large that's... Now, did Aaron pit? I think Aaron pitted, but certainly somebody that did pit was Alex Saunders, as he just flies past. Josh Quincy is just coming out of the pits. Jameson and Gillone have come out together, as you would imagine. Andy Gillone has got a little bit of an advantage to himself. He's got just under 40 seconds and 7 minutes with which to close in that gap to this man. Jameson's just picked up a penalty. 10-second penalty, no less. Ouch. It's Brendan Van Heeden and Carl Benson still having their fight for currently 2nd. And that is the golden question, is even pitting early, will they have enough time to do with it? Aaron Large, I don't think has pitted. Because he is absolutely crawling. There goes Jameson. There's Mark Werrell. He's actually broken completely free of JP McKinley, who's now down into 16th place. There goes Mark Werrell, leaving Aaron Large for absolute dead there. Ooh. Will the no-stopper work? That really is the golden question. I wasn't convinced. I can be convinced of it. Just hear how Podence is just feathering that throttle. Let's just see what his lap time is this time around. So that's a 2:26. Now, obviously, we're not going to get a representative lap from those that have pitted this time around, or those that have just pitted, I should say. Let's see what Alex Saunders gets on the board, having pitted 2 laps ago. He's got Roy Grassy now for company, as sadly, where's Carl Benson been? Oh, he's in 3rd, beg your pardon. Yeah, wrong battle. So there's 2:23 from Brendan, 2:25 from Carl Benson. They haven't pitted. 2:36 from Colin Dunn, who hasn't pitted. What does Alex Saunders get on the board? A 2:16, 10-second difference. Ooh, this is going to be interesting. Oh, Andy Gillone on the back of David Moll. That is for 7th. Does look like Gillo's going to have the advantage there. Inside line heading down towards turn 1. Confident enough on the brakes. David Moll knows that one is done. Yeah, and slots in right behind him. And Aaron Large has come in. A little bit late, sir, but he has come in. I mean, there still could well be position to be gained. Aaron Large still on the back of Alex Saunders. Brendan Van Heeden is closing in. There he is. Brendan could steal the win again. He did it before. He did the no-stopper in the wet weather conditions. Whoa, wow. You saw how the nose just snapped suddenly on the Renault. We'll see. There may well just not be enough time for those that have pitted to actually close that gap down. Saunders, Grassi, catching up to Colin Dunn now. Colin has not pitted and is just crawling, tiptoeing his way through the turns. Now it's too late to pit now. And there is Colin Dunn in the Track and Beyond green Renault. Just no answer whatsoever. Through to 4th for Alex Saunders. Roy Grassi through to 5th as well. Colin just basically has to mind his own business. Gently, 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 gently for the BMW. And there is Brandon. So Brendan has really chipped away. Well, he hasn't just chipped away. He's destroyed the gap between himself and the leader. They go in 4 seconds to his advantage. There's only going to be 2 laps left. And in fairness, it could go either way, you know. Oh, I don't know. I can't call it. I thought a pit stop would be absolutely mandatory, basically, in these conditions, but no, it may not actually be the case. I reckon Brendan, as long as he doesn't have any further technical trouble, there's a big puddle there on the inside of turn 4. Brendan's going to have this as Aaron Large gets himself a penalty as well. A 50-second penalty, that's impressive. There's a bit of a fight forming back here. That's David Moll, Alex Jameson. They found Colin Dunn now. Whoop! Jameson nearly gets his nose chopped off by the Renault. Whoa! That caught David Moll out slightly. Oh, Christos Podence still did a brilliant job of keeping that BMW tamed. Brendan just has to be patient. He's closed in right on his tail. He knows full well he doesn't have to really do much to. Whoa! Podence just about keeps that one going. But again, it's no pit stop strategy that's working well. It's certainly favouring the Renault. Of this battle, at least. Oh, that's close. Surely on the inside of the Vidal chicane is the best opportunity for Brendan to take the lead. Let's watch this battle unfold. And no, the Renault's not close enough. Oh, is that a spin? No. I genuinely don't know how Christos Podence is keeping that car on the track. And that was a really very, very slippery run through the Vidal for Brendan as well. Oh, wow, he nearly slams into the pit wall. Catches that big puddle. As we start the final lap, might the no-stop strategy be the way to go, despite my earlier reservations? There in the background is Carl Benson. He could well take that last podium spot. Well. We knew Christos was a blindingly quick driver, but slick tyres on a wet track in the BMWs he's done it again. It's an absolute masterclass in what he's done. Keeps it out of the water very, very, very delicately. Oh, there was Brendan. He looked to have the exit from turn 4, but caught that big puddle that has ruined his momentum there. There we come towards turn 6. Just gently through. Just everything feeling like he's going to break at any minute. Oh, Brendan nearly nudges the back of the BMW. Could it be? Is Podens going to take the win? Or is Brendan going to just timely just execute his attack right? The checker flag is now out. So once again, the short race is going the way of the no pit stoppers. Absolutely unbelievable. Genuinely did not think it would work that way. BMW versus Renault, rear wheel drive versus front wheel drive is going to be a scrap to the line as Brendan has locked up a bit going into turn 11. Oh, is he going to try and side by side with the Bilstein? Yes, he is! Oh, Brendan Van Eden on the outside. Slick tyres on a wet track as mentioned. In the Renault, he's not quite got it done. He's going to be in a great position to have a go in the Vito and shoved off the road. Oh, my word. But has now taken the lead. He might have been told to relinquish the position by game, but through into the lead as a big tank slapper from Christos Podens out on the exit of the Vito chicane. Now into the final turn, and Christos is going to try and bounce like that one, but Brendan's having none of it. What a race, and it's the no stop again that's done it. So your winner for the final race of the Nurburgring is Brendan Van Eden. No penalty for the South African as well. Christos Podens second, and it is third for Carl Benson. Brilliantly driven. Roy Grassi is going to fend off Alex Saunders for fourth. Gillo comes home in sixth. David Moll is going to... That's Mark Werrell has worked his way right up to 8th position. Great drive for Mark. Didn't see that one unfold. But yeah, Mark Werrell comes home in 8th, right behind David Moll. And Alex Jameson, who picked up a penalty somewhere along the line, he picked up he picked up that 10-second penalty. May not make too much of a difference. There's Chris Callahan coming over the line in 10th position. Toby Owen will take 11th. Colin Dunn is having an argument with Josh Quincy. Josh around the outside. The no-stop strategy not working well for Colin Dunn. Josh Quincy takes the 12th on the final corner of the final lap. 13th for Colin Dunn, 14th for JP McKinley. Stu Neal has spun on the final corner. And 15th for him. Aaron Large, oh dear, it's not gone well for him, it's gone even worse. And Nick Bailey's missing some parts of the car. There should be a rear wing on there somewhere, but his race has unfolded pretty badly. Aaron Large still has some corners to do yet. Well, Nick Bailey's got a lot of corners to do yet. Through the Vidal chicane for the banana split treble one. Up towards the final turn. Doesn't try the sideways manoeuvre in the Beamer. But 16th for Aaron Large. And Nick Bailey is floating rather literally on my screen. Is going to take a bit of a spin. Yes, he does. It just absolutely bends the throttle to spin the car around. Nick Bailey's race has gone from bad to disastrous. Quite why he's floating that high on my screen, I have no idea. Through the final turn then for the Scuzzle, who just about beat the timer. A big puddle there to pull him over. And everyone was on the lead lap at least, but wow, the no-stop strategy once again being the way to go. So it's Brendan Van Eden with the win, Christos Podens in second, Carl Benson third, Roy Grassi fourth, Alex Saunders fifth, Alex Gillone in sixth, Andrew Gillone in sixth position, David Moll seventh, Mark Werrell eighth, Alex Jameson ninth, Chris Callahan in 10th position, Toby Owen 11th, Josh Quincy 12th, Colin Dunn 13th, JP McKinley 14th, Stu Neal 15th, Nick Bailey in 16th, and Aaron Large with that penalty right the way down the bottom end of the field. My word, that is of course without any steward's intervention. So for the final time, we'll see if we get anyone wanted to come and have a chat to me, but what a set of races that was. That was mad. Absolutely bonkers. I really didn't think it would work. I think I might have said that a few times. But the crazy strategy working for the crazy few, one of them being Mr. Podence, who joins me in the box once again. I had a feeling this is the way you would go, and wow, did you do your best to make it work?
Yeah, it was pretty awful, but still so close to P1. But I'll at least take the P2, considering how much I was suffering.
Now, you had a bit of a rough start, it looked like. What happened at the beginning?
Yeah, I just didn't get a good launch, so I lost a couple of positions. Then I tried to push through, and yeah, basically what I wanted to do was just to get out the gap as much as possible to everybody else. And I couldn't really do that in the end, so that's probably why Brendan caught me in the end. But still, it was pretty awful to drive the car. But I'll take it.
It looked very, very hard work, but I mean that was incredible. I genuinely just did not think that would work out, but brilliant stuff once again. Well done on yet another podium. Goodness me, I don't know how you did it, genuinely don't, but if anybody could have done, of course it would be you. Brilliant stuff, well done, and we look forward to seeing you for the final round next week. Thank you very much, Christus Podence.
Yep, thank you.
We have Carl Benson in the box.
Hello, hello.
It's been a long time since I've had the wonderful chance to chat to you, you great northerner you.
The nose.
Well, great job. Well done.
Yeah, well, I had naught to lose.
True enough. It's a shame we didn't see you in race 2. Wow, did you make up for it in race 3? You had to reconnect in the middle of the qualifying. Was there technical trouble there, or?
Yeah, I exit the game by accident.
We've all done it. I nearly did it twice in the stream, would you believe? That's great. Was that always the plan, to try the no stop, or did you just decide to throw the dice and see how it went?
Yeah, well, I mentioned it to Brendan before race 1 when we found out there was going to be a wet race. I said just stay out on slicks because he did it before and won the race.
He did. And the crazy nutter has done it again. Wow. Great effort there, Carl. It's good to see you on the podium spots again.
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll get to see that again next week for the final round.
Sure will, thank you.
Thank you very much, Carl Benson. Wow. Once again, the slick tyres on the wet track has worked for you, Mr. Van Heeden. Well done, sir.
You know what? I think every race should be with wets from now on. It's the only time I win nowadays.
I think that's what you said last time you managed to pull this off. I said from the outset that I had a feeling there would be two of you, and funnily enough, it was actually you two I had in mind, Chris and you, Brendan, that I thought would give this a go. I didn't think you'd be able to pull it off, but wow, the Renault really for a while just came alive.
Yeah, look, I think it's definitely when it's that in between, when it's wet coming from slick, it's definitely a Renault area. The BMW seem to definitely battle a bit, but what my teammates in the M class, myself, did was we went out in extremely wet conditions and we played around just to see what the Renaults could do, and we found a couple of things, this and that. And you know what? I thought with the way everything was going tonight, I tried to play it clean, and then I was overheating the tires, and then stupid slow down penalties. I didn't want to get too much, you know. So I thought, let's try it. We have got some practice. I know what the car was going to do, and I was thinking if Jurgen had to go in and change for wet weathers, I might have been in a bit of trouble. But he stayed out, and I think Jurgen and myself, we know each other too well. It was a battle to the last, 2 corners. It was amazing. I think it was very good racing. Yeah. I'm shaking. I'm literally shaking.
Yeah, that was great to watch, and I think a lot of people enjoyed that one as well. And let's hope that your technical troubles leave you alone for one final time next week. Well done on the win, and great to chat to you again. Thank you very much, Brendan Van Heeden.
Cheers.
And that is it for tonight. Thank you very much to those that have been with us throughout the stream and catching up with us post-event. We always enjoy your attendance. As mentioned, next week is the grand final. It's the Silverstone special. Please do join us for that to see off the season. It's going to be monumental no matter which way we look at it. Until then, thank you very much and good night.